Okay, so today I'm going to be going over natural cures to anxiety and depression. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to start with is the gym, because this is a fitness channel and almost everything I do here focuses around the gym. So I want to start with explaining how the gym can help you deal with and mitigate your anxiety and depression. So let's start with depression. First, I just want to say that the gym, and not even the gym, just even like exercise in general, has been deemed in studies as one of like the best cures for depression. So a lot of people need to realize that, and like I feel like everyone just goes like, oh, let's medicate, when you can naturally do this. Obviously, if you're lifting all the time and you're still relatively depressed, now this is where some other things might need to happen, where you might need to get medicated. Some people do need to get medicated, or you might need to make some other changes. But there's something about, one, when you're lifting, at the end of your lift, you know you've just accomplished something. A lot of people that are depressed, they don't have a lot of motivation and they don't really have a goal they're striving towards. But if you start lifting and creating some goals for yourself in the gym, every day that you lift, you know at the end of your lift that you're one step closer, you're one day closer to achieving some of those goals. And honestly, just having something that you care about that much will help you mitigate some of your depression. Also, a lot of times when you're depressed, it's due to external factors in your life or just other factors in your life in general, based like maybe something with family, friends, or whatever it is, right? But when you're in the gym, especially when you're lifting hard or doing like some long state cardio at a decently high intensity, it's difficult for you to think about something else because you're doing something that's so difficult already. And when you're doing something that's difficult, we all know you have to focus on something that's difficult, no matter what it is in life. If you're doing something difficult, you have to focus on it. So the gym allows you to do something that's difficult and give you, maybe, let's say you're there for like an hour to 2 hours, somewhere in that range. It gives you that 1 to 2 hours of just a little bit of peace. And this kind of links in with the anxiety piece as well, because when you're anxious, that's because you're thinking about something, whatever it is, if it's a conversation, a meeting, a test, or whatever it is, right? And when you're in the gym, you're just not really going to be able to think about that for that hour or two throughout the day, because you're going to be focused so much on this external thing. Now, I just started with the anxiety. I want to transition more to that part. So another thing, and this in essence relates to the gym, it's more just exercise in general, obviously. But one of the best ways to deal with anxiety that I've personally found is, obviously, when you have anxiety, it's because you're overthinking about something and you want to figure out the solution to that problem, whatever it is, right? One way to make it, I found, easier to think about the problem is to actually just go for a walk. When you're walking, at least this is the way it feels for me, it kind of makes it so like all that background thought and your mind just jumping from place to place, it kind of slows down and you're actually able to focus and think a little bit more rationally about the problem. Also, I feel like walking, just having even like that low level exercise where I'm just literally just walking, nothing high intensity at all, it kind of allows you to like mitigate some like that stress you'd feel. So an example of this is like, anytime if I have like a phone interview, I'll typically either be pacing during it or literally just try and go for a walk like around my neighborhood or just somewhere nearby, because it'll allow me to calm down, think more clearly, and just allow me to be more of like my genuine self on that like phone interview or whatever. And this can go in a lot of other ways where, like, let's say you were brainstorming for some project you're working on at work or school. If you just are walking during it, like while you're brainstorming, it might help you be less anxious about like, oh my gosh, you need to come up with this idea because the deadline's in this or whatever. It'll just help you calm down. In addition, if you're stressed about something, you take a break and go lift, you're going to be a lot calmer and probably in a much better mood, because especially after you lift, and this honestly goes for depression and anxiety, after you lift, there's a lot of like endorphins just flowing through your body and you're just gonna genuinely feel better. So those would be my main tips in relation to the gym, and like just examples of how the gym can help you deal with anxiety and depression. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch more that there probably is out there of how the gym can help you. These are just the things that I've noticed and I've taken note of or heard of or have just worked for me in general in relation to how the gym can help fix depression and anxiety, or at least mitigate it and help you deal with it. One thing I do want to say though is I don't have any diagnose depression or anxiety, but I definitely have experienced it. I feel like most of us at some point have experienced some form of depression or anxiety. There's a lot going on in the world these days, but I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so the next one I want to go over is sleep. Sleep is such a good natural remedy to almost like so many different things in life, especially depression and anxiety. So the reason sleep is so important is sleep is where it allows your body to recover. And specifically, I want to start with depression again. Like anyone who's ever had a bad night of sleep, so anyone watching this, like you wake up the next day and you just don't feel the same. You're tired the entire day. And when you feel tired, you're gonna feel a little bit closer to being depressed. Like you're just not gonna feel to that full elevated mood that you normally could have. That's why sleep to me is so crucial. That's why I've tried to really focus in on getting my 8 hours every night, which I know is tough with a lot of other factors, but sleep alone can allow you to be in an elevated mood compared if you're not getting good sleep compared to that. And so let's say you are depressed, but you're only getting like 5 hours of sleep a night. If you can try and dial in your sleep and get to that 8 hours, that alone might mitigate a lot of your depression. Obviously, if there's external factors, sleep's not gonna be able to fix that, but it's better to be 60% of yourself than 40% of yourself. So even if the sleep can give you that 20% back or even more, that's really helpful. In addition to anxiety, when you're tired, you're not thinking straight. Like you're just not thinking the same as you normally would. Like the amount of times I've had simple questions asked to me that I just can't answer because I got a bad night of sleep before. Like we've all experienced that. Especially I remember that like in high school when I definitely wasn't sleeping as well. So that's where like if someone's asked you a question, now you're really anxious about it, plus you're tired, so you're not even thinking straight. Like at least you want to be able to think straight when someone asks you a very stressful question. And now, because you're not thinking straight because you haven't had a good night's sleep, that anxiety is probably building up and being even greater than it normally would if you had a good night's sleep. So that's why sleep isn't really it's not gonna completely get rid of these symptoms, most likely, like the anxiety and depression, but sleep can at least mitigate it and just set you, honestly, like sleep, I feel like gives you just like a higher baseline of how you feel. So if your baseline mood would be like a 6 or a 5, you might be able to get to like a 6 or a 7 from a 5 or a 6 up if you just start getting better sleep. And the same thing goes for like anxiety, where like you might be able to just honestly have clearer thought most of the day, and then you won't be as anxious about some other things. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is diet. And this is one that honestly is difficult in a sense because people still want to enjoy their food. But if you can try and eat a minimally processed diet, you're going to feel so much better. And this goes for both depression and anxiety. And I feel like not enough people realize this, that like what you put into your body, your food, yes, it tastes good and a lot of people enjoy food, but food is just fuel. Like, yes, it tastes good and we all love it. I love food myself. But like food is just fuel for your body to be able to perform all the things it does to its highest capability. So if you're putting in processed foods your body can't actually deal with or get rid of or extract nutrients from as effectively, you're just inherently not going to feel as good because your body either has to now complete other processes that it wasn't expected to do, and now your 100% total power of your body is being set out to, let's say, 20 different processes have to go on because you're eating this food that your stomach just can't really digest it properly, instead of like the 15 processes that need to be going on that are just like the natural processes of our body that need to keep going on. So that's why if you can eat these non-processed foods, that your body just deals with them so much better. I can't remember where I heard this analogy, or maybe I just thought of it myself. I honestly don't know, but if I did get this from somewhere else, please, if you've heard it from somewhere else, let me know. But it's like you wouldn't put water in your car. Why? Because your car's not going to run. Your car runs on gas, or if you have an electric car, electric, right? But another example, like if you have a Tesla that doesn't have it's like fully electric, right? You're not going to put gas in that car. It's not going to do anything. And that's kind of like the analogy of like putting purely processed foods in your body. Like it is a fuel source. Like if you put gas in a car, but it's an electric car, it is technically you're putting a fuel source in a car, but it's not the right fuel source. So you need to make sure you're putting in the right fuel source into you, your prized possession, your body. You want to be able to function at the highest capability that you can. And now, if you haven't picked up on how this connects to depression and anxiety, it's more just the fact of if your body is properly functioning, then you're likely not going to have as much depression or anxiety because you're going to be functioning at a higher level. You're going to be able to think more clearly, analyze problems better, and just be able to deal with the circumstances around you even more. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're able to take these 3 tips about the gym, your sleep, and your nutrition and your diet, and hope you're able to take those and mitigate any depression or anxiety that you're feeling. As I said, once again, this is all just stuff that I've kind of either heard about or learned through my own experimenting and practicing on my own. So I hope this can help you. If you know anyone else this could help, please send it to them. We always want to help people out. All right. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next Sunday at 5 p.m. Catch you there.